Oh my squids, is it really time? Is it actually time? Is it appropriate for yet another warts and all Mark with a C pocket show? Friends and entities, I think that it is. My name is Mark with a C. Please list all of your names below and your favorite second ingredient to put into anything you are making or watching someone else make that you are trying to fuck up before they finish cooking it. This is the first song on the very first release that ever bore the name Mark with a C. It's called Mundane. It's 6 a.m. and I just broke your alarm clock. Impressions, who needs them? I got my caffeine. The field has been evacuated. How was I to play? The jealousy of others is getting just a bit mundane. I was working my way through my 20s for a wage, but I'd rather come home to someone for a change. Self-esteem made me huff a can of Raid. Neil Young was wrong, a man doesn't need a maid. What he needs is someone with no damaged goods, interchangeable moods, so things never get boring, and someone to laugh at my stupid jokes. It's 5 o'clock and now I'm in the rush hour car, and I'm wondering why the stations all play commercials at the same time. What am I rushing home to? I don't even have cable, let alone someone to lay all my sarcasm on. A nice home-cooked meal is what I crave, then a back window for my car to keep out the rain. Self-esteem made me huff a can of Raid, and I'm watching my youth drip like urine down the drain. But what I need is someone with no damaged goods, interchangeable moods, so things never get boring, and someone to laugh at my stupid jokes. Working my way through my 20s for a wage, yet I'd rather come home to someone for a change. My self-esteem made me huff a can of Raid. Now I'm watching my youth drip like urine down the drain. But what I need is someone with no damaged goods, interchangeable moods, so things never get boring, and someone to laugh at my stupid jokes. What I need is someone with no damaged goods, interchangeable moods, so things never get boring, and someone to laugh at my stupid jokes. What I need is someone with no damaged goods, interchangeable moods, so things never get boring, and someone to laugh at my stupid jokes. Something that I was not upfront about. It's something that I've had to pick apart mentally for many years. I had to wonder why so many people thought that everything that I sang was true, or something I had experienced. Really, I mean, it was a personal epidemic for quite a while. I was like, what? Like, did people go to Johnny Cash shows going like, yeah, he totally just got furloughed from Folsom Prison to come here to sing that song, and now he's going back. Johnny Cash, the man who shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. What? No, that's the deal with songs. It's okay to lie in them. So one of the things that I did for so many years as Mark with a C was, well, if those songs aren't from my perspective, what are they? Well, sometimes, not always, but occasionally, and definitely in the case of this song, I'd find out about something, or be on the receiving end of a conversation, or overhear something that I didn't necessarily understand. So what I would do is I would try to write something where I could put myself in those shoes in a first-person way, so that rather than laughing at things I don't understand, making fun of things that I don't understand, or worse, hating or being prejudiced against them, maybe I could just walk a couple of feet in their shoes. And maybe I'd get where they were coming from. And I don't think that people understanding each other is necessarily going to make for a worse world. And maybe, just maybe, if enough people listen to the tunes that I make up and can figure out what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about and where this sprung from, maybe they can understand it too. Well, it didn't really work out that way. But I'm still proud of pretty much all the character studies. This was one of the first. Not the first, but one of the first. This was earmarked for a project that was never finished. I guess I could finish it. I just don't wanna. I wrote the song after a recording session over at I'd like to say that we were working on Human Slushy. That seems about right. Because I was definitely at Joe Panton's house. And I'd picked up a music magazine. I think it was Rolling Stone. And I was flipping through, and there was a whole article on bug chasing. Now, if you don't know what that is, and frankly, don't Google it, because I don't know what you're going to get if you do. And I didn't look into it further. I merely read that article and went, okay, I'm going to try my best to make sense of it. What I believe the phenomenon is, what I understand it to be, or at least understood it to be at the time, was a phenomenon mostly specific to gay men. They would have a sort of urge to nurture, sort of like a mothering instinct. Some of them, clearly this is not everybody, but potentially all bug chasers. Potentially. Boy, how many disclaimers can I give? A whole lot more. Potentially, maybe. I also am not a gay man, so I could be talking out of my fucking ass, and I'm definitely not a bug chaser. I just read an article once. Alright, there's every damn disclaimer. What it seems to be is, oftentimes, in the bug chasing world, a gay man will sort of want a child to nurture, but not necessarily to be a parent. Rather, they want to be inseminated with whatever virus is being carried by the partner du jour. Let's say they've got herpes. Well, that recipient wants herpes so they can nurture it, take care of it. They have these, I don't know what you'd even call them. I truly don't know. Parasites, insects, I don't know. They have something living in them. If it's the HIV virus, they can nurture it, let it get worse, which makes them sick. So they kind of keep it at bay. Again, it's all just my understanding. But I don't understand it, clearly. Listen to how much I'm second-guessing it, and this is nearly 20 years after I first heard about it. Anyways, my first attempt at trying to make sense of it was merging it with some other stories that I was writing at the time, which were all going to come together in the HRG project. Then it just didn't. But I do have to say that this is not my favorite song to listen to, but it truly is one of my favorite things that I ever made, because it was something that I was scared to broach. And I find that the songs that I was nervous to write, but follow through with, even if nobody cares about it on the receiving end, they tend to be the ones that stick with me the longest and on the deepest level. This is called Chasing the Bug. You don't like girls spills it all. The boys want you for one thing, but that's the norm. You don't speak when you are spoken to, but if they're lucky, you might respond with your watery and teary eyes. Your bit of karma, it ran over my dogma. Your demons are fit to be tied up. It's gritty and nightmarish, and every trip is different. Dirty like you're chasing the bug. With connections like these, who needs an enema? You wanna cross the most personal line. Leave a message stating your desires. You know mine, you already know mine. You're kicking cigarettes, but you don't smoke. The alleyway is a lifelong drug. It's gritty and nightmarish, and every trip is different. But you're dirty like you're chasing the bug. If you impregnate me, I won't bear a child. I'll give the world a poison fruit. My body is a temple, the arsonists are burning down. I will kneel at my very own pew. My clergy, my rabbi, my baptismal pour, I will worship with my knees on the rug. Bless me when I return from the evils of the world. Well, I'm dirty like I'm chasing the bug. The congregation holds my head under the water until the bubbles stop rising up. I won't be saved until the liquid fills my lungs. I'm dirty like I'm chasing the bug. Now, here's a bright fucking shiny change of pace, because what the hell follows that? What do you do after that? It's not easy to follow that tune. So let's just go in the complete opposite direction. This one was it's not the most important song in the Marc with a C anything, in as much as any Marc with a C song can be important. But the person that it's about is nearly the most important person I ever had a conversation with while being Marc with a C. I talked about this in my book called Maybe It'll Be Good. Marc with a C is a persona. But in the very beginning of this persona, it was shocking, drunken, loud, offensive, but that was to get your attention so you'd listen to the melodies, and maybe the words too. While I'd made a slide into different types of music, but you wouldn't necessarily notice that because the persona could be louder than the songs. Well, a really bad event happened. Potentially due to the persona, potentially due to a bad booking mix. I don't know. It's hard for me to say for sure because I was intoxicated. But what I can tell you is afterwards, me and the lady that I was dating at the time, her name was Amy, and we didn't date for very long. We were just better off as friends, and we figured that out. And as far as I know, we're still cool with each other. But Amy didn't talk a whole lot. To the point where I would describe it sometimes as catatonic. It wasn't catatonic, but it was, boy, she could be very quiet. But they were comfortable silences, you know? But anyways, she had this silent Bob way about her at times, where she would only open her mouth to say the thing that was going to change every fucking thing. And this was the one that she did for me. See, I'd seen it happen with others. She's a magical lady, truly. A lot of great stuff that can be said about her, but this is the only part that I feel is right to ever bring up about her. After that bad show experience, and I was injured and sick, and I'm recounting the events, and I'm going, what went wrong? How did I end up here? How is this how the night ended? And she pointed at the club that we had just come from a while ago. And she said, I don't like that you. And she pointed at me. Said, I like this you. I don't think anybody had said that. It melted my heart. It changed my entire perspective and outlook on what I was doing with entertainment. It changed how I wanted to proceed in the future. And frankly, it made me want to be a better person. And I ran at that. Begging to unlearn being self-absorbed so that I could learn self-aware. To just do positive things. Now I've stumbled plenty. I don't know if that ever happens to me if Amy doesn't say that at that moment. So I wrote this tune out of the situation, and it might seem kind of pithy in comparison. Because how do you really encapsulate something so heavy? Because Amy's not a heavy person. Most of the time, we just hung out and drank wine and watched reruns of that 70s show, you know? Just chilled out, hung out. Real low stakes stuff. And that more just, everything's okay. That's how I remember her. And I always wanted to share the really cool parts of her personality in music. Because music is ultimately nothing if not an expression of the inexpressible, right? So this is one of the few Marc with a C songs that is the exact opposite of Chasing the Bug. At the time that I wrote this song, it was devastatingly true. I am changing a line in it, though. See, I'm a married man. You're all certainly aware of that. And I'm not married to Amy. And Amy, best as I know, has been with the same gentleman for, well, basically ever since. So I don't want anyone to get confused here. So there's a line in the song on the original recording that appeared on Bubblegum Romance where I say, my girlfriend. And I'm changing that line. I've always tried to find the right line for it, but I think I got it. It's really a subtraction of a word. That said, this is the exact opposite of the spiel that I just gave, with the title, Just a Few Words. Well, she's one of the last free spirits, goes where her heart tells her to go, and you won't learn a thing about just a few words. Please and thank you and alright, okay. Those are some of the words she often says. Yet she ain't gonna talk your ear off. No, she mostly keeps to herself. When I can't get to sleep at night, she's still the silent type, but she made it all better with just a few words. Just a few words. Oh, my friend didn't babble mindlessly like some we've had. She said that her quiet streak genetically came from her dad. Singing quietly along to the mates upstate, she doesn't find the need to be loud. Instead, she gets her point across silently, and she doesn't have to make a sound. But when I don't have food to eat, or when the whole music scene is just hating me, she made it all better with just her voice, just her voice. She made it all better with just a few words. And now let's go in the complete opposite direction of all of those songs. This is absolutely one of my favorites that I ever made up. And the fatal flaw, is the title. See, this is a pretty lyrically inscrutable song, and that was by design. But I called the song, I Am Going to Fuck Your Life Up, and that line does not appear anywhere in the song. It was really stupid to handicap the song with the F word when the song is not explicit in any way. However, I wish the song had been called Everything Was Cool. It just was not, and it's a cross I'll have to bear forever, because it could only ever really rise to being one of my favorites, but not much else. It's a tune that I pull out of my back pocket occasionally when I know that there's a crowd there in front of me that are pretty hardcore about a lot of the stuff I've made, but they want to hear something special, something they know but weren't necessarily expecting. This is the one I think to pull out. But also, hindsight, it's crystal clear. It comes from the album This World Is Scary As Fuck, which is nobody's favorite record of mine. But there are songs on it that are lots of people's favorites of mine. It's weird how that works. The song Stuck With Me might be about the best known tune from it. Then there's a tune at the very end called Amy It's Kevin. And that one's pretty harrowing. And people seem to like it because they ask me for it a lot. Then there's Music Geek, which ended up, just like the other two that I mentioned, on it got voted onto my best of box set, Maybe It'll Be Good, the best of Marc with a C. But very few people ask me about this tune. Which leads me to believe that not a lot of people really care about it all that much. And I do think, genuinely, the most fucked up part about it is that I named it something that would make you avoid playing it on the radio, make you avoid playing it if your kids were in the car, when there's truly not only nothing offensive about it, the song only makes sense to me. I've written Song of the Week blogs about it. Hell, I addressed it in the book and you didn't even realize it. That's how inscrutable this song is. And again, I remind you, that was by design. Because there are some things that I was working out in song that I was scared for you to know I was experiencing. Happy birthday, let's go get our prescriptions filled. It's a long drive, please don't forget to bring my pills. I will influence trust me limitlessly. I'll repair you when my family's not around. My first love's in the ocean, and I wish that he would drown. Changing every day to something that you've never seen. Infantile regression on the way to 17. Thank God you know how to spy on me. Well, everything was cool until Christmas rolled around. We were playing with telepathy until I got found out. My friends called to remind me that I had to tear you down. So I worked to earn your faith, and I stopped coming around. So you can just try to reach me with apologies in vain. If I don't settle on much, why would I settle on a name? But I just bought a ring for about $900. I'd wish you well, and then you're gonna need that luck. Then I'll blame you for the shit I caused. Haha, you fell for it. There's no accounting for taste, and all the promises I made, well, you can watch them float away. Cause there is no connection, and there probably never was. I've become my father and lost all my love and trust. Thank God I got friends to decompose. Well, everything was cool until Christmas rolled around. We were playing with telepathy until I got found out. My friends called to remind me that I had to tear you down. So I worked to earn your faith, and I stopped coming around. I'd repair you, but that's not what I'm about. No, I'm gonna take what I got from you, I'm gonna go spread it around. My first love gets a second dose of third-rate punishment. He's coming back for more, but I'm so transparent. Thank God I can lie so well. Because everything was cool until Christmas rolled around. We were playing with telepathy until I got found out. My friends called to remind me that I had to tear you down. So I worked to earn your faith, and I stopped coming around. Everything was cool until Christmas rolled around. We were playing with telepathy until I got found out. My friends called to remind me that I had to tear you down. So I worked to earn your faith, and I stopped coming around. Oh, everything was cool until Christmas rolled around. We were playing with telepathy until I got found out. My friends called to remind me that I had to tear you down. So I worked to earn your faith, and I stopped coming around. Everything was cool until Christmas rolled around. We were playing with telepathy until I got found out. My friends called to remind me that I had to tear you down. So I worked to earn your faith, and I stopped coming around. Oh, I worked to earn your faith, and I stopped coming around. Good God, I worked to earn your faith, then I stopped coming around. Holy fuck, I worked to earn your faith, then I stopped coming around. Let's go now. Thanks, everybody. Acquiring enthusiastic consent before any sexual activity is never merely optional, it's always completely mandatory. And your body and all the choices that surround it belong to you and only you. And I beg you to never settle for less. I'm Marc with a C. I'm filming this on November 8th of 2020. And I hope you're having a good time whenever you find this. Take care.